Hey guys, it's Pebbles. Thanks for watching Pebbles Eats Plants. I'm very excited today. I'm doing my first ever cooking demo. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm very excited because I don't have any formal or even really informal chef training. I'm a home cook. I love to cook, but I definitely don't do everything perfectly. It doesn't look like it does on, Top Chef or Chopped or anything like that, but I wanted to show you putting together this recipe, and I'll be honest, it's more of a assembly demo because I did pre-cook a lot of this stuff on Sunday when I had more time, which is actually a really good tip for times when you want to have more complicated meal without spending a lot of time. It's after work. I came home, kind of pulled stuff out of the fridge, turned on the oven, put on my apron, and here I am, and I'm hungry. So I didn't want to cook all these things after work. I did them on Sunday, and then now I'm going to throw them together and see how it goes. Today we're making a polenta taco pizza, which I'm sure somebody else has made. I haven't really seen it anywhere. I've seen polenta pizza and taco pizza, but I don't know that I've specifically seen vegan polenta taco pizza together. I love taco pizza. It's one of those things like a rare find from my childhood. Hopefully it'll be delicious. Mr. Pebbles just told me that he's not a huge fan of taco pizza, so his expectation is set nice and low for this one. So anything edible will be a pleasant surprise for all of us. So what I've done is I have these polenta crusts that I made on Sunday, and all I did was make some polenta. I made it in my Instant Pot, which probably does not produce the most creamy, dreamy, smooth, perfect polenta, but when you're using it in another recipe like this, instead of just eating it right away, it works just fine for me. I seasoned it a little bit with some food glitter and some cumin and a little bit of salt, so it has a little bit of flavor to it, and then I just poured it onto a pan. No, I can't pour things in that perfect of a circle, but I used the outside of my springform pan and then just cooled it into the second one. As you can see, I didn't split it up properly, and one of them is thicker than the other one, so I'll figure out who gets which one on that. But so these are cooled polenta. The oven is at 450, and so I'm just going to pop these in for a few minutes to crisp them up a little bit, and then I'll top them, and then we'll put them back in to bake everything. So I've got this cool pizza paddle thing, and I'm just going to go on my pizza stone in my oven. The oven's 450. These are kind of moist on the bottom, so I definitely need the pizza stone treatment. So we're gonna try 7 minutes on that and see how that treats us. Okay, so then what I'm thinking of for taco pizza is like 80s, 1980s pizza parlor taco pizza. So crust, beans on the crust, whatever, maybe taco meat. I have vegan taco meat that I made, cheese, maybe some other toppings, but then after you take it out of the oven, then they would put some lettuce and some crunched up chips and like sour cream on top of it, and it has that like hot cold taco thing kind of going on. So I'm excited. I'm gonna make some baked chips in my air fryer. I don't know if you can really see the air fryer here, but I have the Go Wise XL fryer, and I'm just gonna put corn tortillas. These are bigger than I'd make for chips, but I'm gonna crumble them up into little pieces anyway, so why bother doing extra cutting? So for chips, actually I just pretty much do everything on 400. I see recipes or descriptions where they're adjusted the time. I haven't got that far yet. You definitely need to keep a close eye on chips. I'm going to start them at 10 minutes, and I'll check them every couple minutes and see when they look about right to me. Let me grab a tomato. I think I want a tomato for this too. So I'm going to chop up my veggies to put on the pizza. And again, I don't have any super fancy knife skills. I do have a good knife that I really like. It's a Wusthof chef's knife, and I really love it. I did take a knife skills class at the Portland Culinary Workshop, which is a cool cooking school for regular folks where you actually get to do stuff. A lot of times if you take a cooking class, it's a cooking demo just like this where the instructor talks about it and you get to see it and maybe even taste it and maybe try, you know, like, oh, call up one person to press the button on the blend tech or whatever, but you don't actually get to do it. At the Portland Culinary Workshop, you do get to actually do all of the things. So it's really fun. They've got all different kinds of cuisine. Some of them obviously aren't going to be vegan friendly, but they do have quite a few that are. And the people are super nice. The instructors were awesome. So highly recommend that if you want someone helping you. I took the how to make pasta class because I really wanted to have an expert to be able to show me what does the dough look like, what does the dough feel like when it's right, and so that was really helpful. I will say I have not made homemade pasta since then, but I plan to, so I will do that at some point. I've got a jalapeno for Mr. Pebbles pizza to put on there. He definitely likes things a little bit spicier than I do, so I'm going to be making 2 pizzas so that we each have one kind of the way we like it. I'm going to just scrape the seeds and the white part out of here. If you're using hot peppers, be very careful, obviously, not to touch your eyes or any other delicate parts of yourself after you've touched the peppers and before you have thoroughly washed your hands. So follow my own advice and hopefully get off that pepper oil and not burn myself. Okay, so I'll just chop these up a little bit so I can put them on his pizza, give it a little bit of spiciness, and then I have the lettuce. I made refried beans. I made a ton of refried beans in my Instant Pot, and that, if you like refried beans or beans of any kind, that is a perfect reason to get an Instant Pot. They come out so yummy and they're super easy. The refried beans I set to cook while I'm doing something else, and then you just open it, and I use an immersion blender. It's one of those little stick ones to blend it up and add some seasoning, and they're amazing and delicious and awesome. So, I'll rinse this guy here off. Check my chips. So they're not quite golden yet or crispy, so I'm going to let those keep going. I'm going to shred my lettuce so that it, you know, it's just like little skinny bits on here. Just a little bit of romaine. I like having these romaine hearts because they actually last longer, I think, than most of the lettuce. Also, I like the taste and the texture more than most other lettuces, but they actually last quite a while, so you're not having to try and eat them all in the first 2 days, like I always feel like I'm doing with spinach or some of the other greens where they wilt or get kind of mushy right away. The romaine hearts tend to be a little bit sturdier and longer lasting, which I really like. We'll go to the disposal later. And then I think I want slices for pizza. It's another childhood favorite of mine is putting fresh tomato on top of pizza, regular, you know, crust pizza, having pizza tomato slices on it, and then in a perfect world also ranch dressing, which is one of my very favorite things in general. So with some tomato slices, it can be added to the pizza right here. Oh, really? Wash this. again, you really want to keep checking these because they go from not cooked to burnt in just a few seconds. Oh, perfect timing. Make sure you have something to set your stuff on when it comes out of the oven. I just got some pieces of parchment paper here so that I have a little workspace to put these together. Let's see. Okay, so things are taking a turn. My crusts are sticking a little bit to the pizza stone, which is unexpected, but I can see now that maybe they're a little too wet on the bottom. So I'm gonna let them go for a few more minutes and then pull them out and top them then. So one of the things that, hot. One of the things that I plan to talk about eventually, and now seems like a good time as any, is some of the technology that I've used to help with weight loss. So one of the pieces of technology that I've used for the longest is an app called MyFitnessPal, and many of you have probably heard of it or used it or something similar, and it's mainly designed to be a way to track calories, so entering everything you eat and seeing calories, and it tells you how many you have left, and now it syncs with your Fitbit or your iWatch or whatever. I don't track calories, but I do track my weight on there because I have tracked calories in the past, and so I have tracked my weight for a very long time on there. So that's a way that I just mark it. One of the best features for me is that it it shows you a graph over time, so you can look at it, and even if you've been kind of going up and down, up and down, up and down, you can see that over many months the graph goes down. So that's a very useful and important one for seeing kind of the overall downward trend and not letting the number on the scale be really frustrating and ruin your day. So that's an app that I recommend. Another app that I've used, I don't know if I'll use it again in the future. I enjoyed it to some extent, would be partner apps, StepBet and DietBet, and those are ones where you make a wager, even like $25, put you in a pool of people where from a certain date to an end date, like the StepBet, it looks at your history with your Fitbit or your Apple Watch or whatever device you use and gives you, okay, those look good, gives you, let those just hang out, a step goal to meet, and you have a stretch goal, an average goal, and 1 day of rest, and you for everyone who meets all of that in the given time then are eligible to win prize, which is the money divided up by from everyone, whereas if you don't meet it, you don't get a chance. So I did one of those. I didn't really find it all that fun, and it was sometimes silly. I'd had a long day, done a bunch of stuff, but if the steps weren't quite high enough, I'd have to like run around the house for 10 minutes or something. And I know a lot of people like that and counting their steps, but I don't know. I just didn't really care for it all that much. DietBet's very similar. You weigh in at the beginning, and then over the course of time, it's based on percentage. Whoever meets the goal percentage is then eligible. So it's not just one person winning. It's usually they'll set it for like 5% or 3% or whatever, and if you meet it, then the prize is split between. So I've done 2 or 3 of those, and I did win money every time, but it's sometimes it wasn't much, so if I went on a $25 bet and I won, I think $30 one of the times, so essentially I only won $5 because you make your wager, you get your money back, but again, it's a little motivation, to keep going those extra days, or to not slack off on the weekend, something like that. So it might be helpful for you. There's also an app called Healthy Wage, or Healthy Wager. I'll put the links in the video, but that is one where you can do more of a long game. So I set one of those in August, I think, and you can do a bigger percentage in a longer amount of time. So that one is still going on. I've already met the goal for that one, but the time is not up for a little while. So it seemed like a really big goal when I set it, but I clearly, underestimated myself, which is kind of cool. That one will be a little bit of a bigger prize, so that one will be kind of exciting. The one that I think is most useful as far as the wagering apps is called Stick. I mentioned that one before on a video, and it's one where you can configure and customize whatever you want, whatever behavior you're trying to change. So whether you're trying to do more of something or do less of something, hold that thought. It allows you to set up those parameters and either make it so that another person gets money if you don't meet your goals. The feature that I really like and that has been motivating for me is that you can set it up so that if you basically blow it, so if you say, I'm not gonna drink any alcohol for a month, say you're working on something like that, then if you do drink alcohol one of the weeks, and you can either be on your honor, or you can have a referee, a friend, or a family member who will rat you out, or who you'll feel too bad lie to, you can set it up so that then it goes to an anti-charity. So it's, when I've done it, I think it's been like $10 a week or something. But if you screw up, $10 goes to an anti-charity. So they have options on both sides of some controversial topics, and you pick the one that you would not want to get your money, like really would not want to get your money. And I think my current one is anti-environmental charities. So if I break any of my rules that I described in the 40 is Fit video, then money goes to fight the environment, which is certainly not something that I want to see happen. So that's part of keeping myself on track, is remembering that stuff. I'm going to pull this out and flip it over. And we're going to top this side of it because, as you can see, the other side is quite firm. This side's ready to go. That's how this is going to happen. Again, sometimes when you're making stuff, things don't go perfectly. It's no reason to panic. You can usually save most things, and sometimes you even come across a new method or something that works really well out of kind of a happy accident. So this is not exactly how I pictured this going, but I think it's still going to work, and it's still going to be delicious. So because of how these are looking, I have decided I'm gonna keep the thicker one, and I'm gonna make Mr. Pebbles the more thin one. I think that'll probably suit him better, and he'll probably be a little bit happier with that. So let's move these over here so you can see them a little bit better. Hopefully. Set this guy out of the way. All right. Okay, so I bought my pizza crusts, and I'm going to use some of this Trader Joe's double roasted salsa as my pizza sauce. And actually, you might think this is kind of funny, but I have to swap these. Whenever I'm plating things or making things where there's slight variations, often, Mr. Pebbles' has more spice, mine has less, nuts or whatever. I always put his on the right and mine on the left. So I had them reversed, and that was just going to mess with me and ruin my life. So his is on the right, mine is on the left. Mine looks kind of lumpy and lopsided, but I bet it is going to taste delicious. So use the salsa just like pizza sauce. And then I'm gonna take some refried beans, put them on here. Nice delicious layer of refried beans. I don't know if you can see these, but they are really good. These are those ones I made in the Instant Pot. I have a giant bag of pinto beans from Costco, and they last a long time, and it makes it super easy anytime you want refried beans or just pintos. But I have to admit, I almost always, if I get out the pintos, I'm generally gonna make refried beans. Now, I'm gonna make just sort of daubs of beans on Mr. Pebbles so that it's not gloppy. That was something he didn't like about taco pizza in the past, so I'm gonna try and mitigate that a little bit and just kind of put them on there. Not quite as much as I put on mine. I may have mentioned in a previous video that I think I actually eat more than he does on a regular basis, and I don't know if that's just because I'm not eating any oil or fat or anything like that, so I have more room for calories and I don't get full as easy, or if it's just part of who I am. So, but yeah, doesn't bother me that mine is larger. That's sort of standard. This is some bulgur taco meat that I made. It is nice little taco crumbles. The ingredients are just bulgur, which is a wheat product, and I cooked it in water with dog just got a bite of taco seasoning. So just cooked it with some taco type seasoning, cumin, chili powder, things like that, and it turns into this nice crumbly business that you can use on things. I am going to actually put cheese on these first before I put on the crumbles, because I like the crumbles to get kind of crispy on the outside. I made for mine, because I'm not eating any nuts right now, I made a carrot, potato, queso. So this is potato, carrot, seasonings, and that's it. But I think it tastes pretty good. It's like nacho cheese, so I'm gonna drizzle some nacho cheese on here. And it's not gonna really like brown or stretch or melt or anything like cheese. It just gives it a nice kind of another layer of flavor. I did add jalapenos in here too, so it is like a very nacho cheese flavored thing that I've got going on here. The carrot, potato, queso is great. You can make a mac and cheese type thing. I used when I made the sauce on Sunday, I used part of it in my garden burger recipe, and then I added spices to the rest of this to turn it into queso. You can do a lot of things with it, and it really is just carrot and potato and seasonings and blend it until it tastes good. I don't use a recipe. I just put stuff in and taste it, and I know when I'm done because it tastes good. For Mr. Pebbles, I'm going to use some of this mozzarella, and this is a recipe from, I'm blanking on Summer. I'm blanking on her name, but her book is The Abundance Diet, and it's in the book. It's also available online, so I could share it online, or you can also buy her book, which has a lot of interesting recipes. And if you like someone else making meal plans for you, it's a good one because it has fully made meal plans. But this one does have cashews in it. It's not a lot. It's only a quarter of a cup, so it's not a super calorie dense recipe. But I'm just not eating nuts right now, so that's why I'm not having any of it. But this one does turn very mozzarella-y and gooey and stretchy, and I really like it as a pizza cheese. It has tapioca flour or tapioca starch in it, which gives it sort of a stretchy, melty quality once it's melted. So that, and it does get like stretchy and gooey. So that'll be good and delicious for Mr. Pebbles as well. And then I have some peppers and onions. These are just Slacker peppers and onions from frozen roasted peppers and onions from Trader Joe's. Can't go wrong with that. I just defrosted a couple while my oven was preheating and then kind of patted them dry with a paper towel. Just mostly so I had a little bit of color and veg on my pizzas here. And I have some jalapeno for Mr. Pebbles. He's gonna actually probably get most of the whole jalapeno. I think I'm gonna have a little. I'm gonna have a few pieces. I like some spicy, not as spicy as he does, but I think it'll be good. I've got some green onion. That's gonna go on to and you could do this as a not a taco pizza and just use the cheese, use marinara, cheese, peppers, onions, mushrooms, whatever you like, and bake it that way. I prefer if I'm not doing a flour crust. I really like the quinoa crusts where you soak the quinoa and then blend it and make a crust out of that. I also just like putting pizza toppings on polenta that's like still soft. Some people I know do it on pizza. There's some other variations. Again, this is the first time for polenta crust pizzas for me. Got the veggies on. Now I'm going to put on my taco crumbles. And you see they are very just taco crumbly. And I do like to put those on last so that they have a chance to get a little bit crispy on the outside. Two. And all of this is oil-free stuff as well. So okay. Did I forget anything? No. Okay, so these are gonna go in the oven. Those taco seasonings are very good. These are gonna go in the oven and bake until my cheese is melty, it's crispy on top, and looks like it's ready to eat. I mean, yes, I do taste things as I eat sometimes. So let's start with this guy. Hopefully these aren't going to stick in the oven. They'll come back out when I want them to. These guys are going in. This guy. Okay. Let's set this. I'd say about 8 minutes. We'll do 8 minutes and see what that looks like. So, so the stick, yeah. So you can set it so that it, if you mess up on what you're trying to change, it will give $10 of your hard-earned money to an organization that you really disagree with. And you get to pick that. You don't get to pick the specific one, but it's like environment, for and against. I can't remember what the other ones were. There's some like British football teams on there, which I thought was kind of funny, and some other issues. I think guns and gay marriage and some other things. So you can choose which side you want to be on, and whether to make it a, if I'm successful, $10 of my money goes to this place that I really like. Or if I screw up, $10 of my money goes to this place that I hate, and I don't want that to happen. So whichever you think is going to be more motivating for you, you can use that on stick. And then it's STICKK, and I'll put the link in the description box below, but give it a try. If you meet all your goals, it doesn't cost you anything. So it's only if you mess up that it costs you anything. And so yeah, so that was kind of cool. And you can invite a referee or someone to to help. There's a little journal feature, which is kind of nice to look back and track what you've done. And then I think those are the main ones. My favorite one, the one that I'm most excited about and that I like the most, is an app that's called YouFood. And YouFood is sort of like Instagram, but just for food freaks. I was looking, I tried a couple of different apps, a year or so or more ago, that had photo food tracking, because I know that tracking your food is a proven strategy for weight loss. Being able to look back and see, what did I eat? So, if your weight's going up, maybe you can look back and notice a trend. If you're not feeling well, things like that. It's very helpful behavior. Some people just write it down in a journal. Some people track it in something like MyFitnessPal, where they're also getting the calorie and the nutrient information. That for me was very crazy making. It wasn't fun. So the photo food diary type apps, I tried a couple others, but this was by far the best one that I tried. The things that I like are that you can set it up either so it's only you, so just you're the only one who sees it. Just look at your own stuff. There's a recipe search feature. You can look back at the pictures and see what you ate. You can categorize things as breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. There's buttons for product, tip, discussion, things like that you can also choose. But what I really learned to love is that you can also kind of have a community. So I follow a group of people who eat the same way that I do. They are people who eat vegan, definitely. Most of them also eat whole food, plant-based. Some variety in that. Some eat more nuts, some eat less nuts, some have more. Eat fewer starches, some eat as many starches as I do. Some, there's some variance in that. But one of the common things is that we all care about what we eat. We all like to eat. We all care about what we eat. Most of us also like cooking, although there's a few who are self-proclaimed non-cooks, which it's kind of like I don't bake. That's my thing, is I don't bake. I might try. I always think that I might try again someday, but historically, baking is not my thing. Cooking is my thing. Baking is not my thing. But so I follow people. They follow me. There's a daily awesome feature where certain popular posts show up in that every day, and so you can kind of see new people can see your stuff and follow and comment. And it's actually turned into my favorite piece of social media. So of all of the forms of social media out there, this YouFood is the one that I use the most, the one that probably sucks the most of my time, but also the one that gives me the most support. And really, I feel like I've developed good friendships from, and times when I've felt down about my eating or my weight, or had a problem to solve, or I needed to find something. People on there have somebody has an idea. Somebody has the words that help. People will post videos that they've watched that really spoke to them, or books that really appealed to them. And it is a really awesome way to build a community and to have that. So YouFood is by far the most useful technology app that I've experienced for weight loss, and I suggest you try it. It used to be free. Now there is a subscription charge. I don't think it's that much, but I would say it's definitely something that's worth it. I'm on there as Pebbles Eats Plants, so if you're on YouFood, please check out my stuff. That's where I post everything that I eat. I usually will post, kind of a special recipe, or something, if there's a recipe attached for something I make, or something new or different on my Facebook page. I, post things that just kind of look cool on Instagram, but YouFood is where I post every single thing that I eat. So some of it's not pretty. If you forget to take a picture, you can just post text. So, it might be like 3 drinks and a handful of French fries at the bar last night. Forgot to take a picture, or whatever. So sometimes there's the less than flattering photos on there. And I'll post, if I eat something that's not super healthy, that goes on there. that hasn't happened in a while just because of the stick commitment that I have. But and other people do too, and you can kind of commiserate and help with each other. So that one, if you want to follow me on there, say hi in the comments on YouFood, and I can check out your food too and see what you're making and see what it looks like. I get so many ideas from there, and it's nice because, again, like I said, I can narrow it to people who eat the way I do. Whereas if I follow a bunch of my food bloggers, my favorite food bloggers, I feel like that guy being interviewed on TV, and then his kid comes into the room. This is my dog Buffy. Saw her before my beach video, but she is woofing and excited. She probably thinks that it's about her dinner time, or she may need to go out and go potty. But she's always in the kitchen with me. Usually she just is laying quietly in her bed, but then every once in a while she kicks up a little bit and wants to say hi. So Buffy can say hi to everybody. I think it is about time to check the pizzas. So I'm going to see what those are looking like. Oh yeah, only 15 seconds left. So let's take a look. Ooh, that actually does look really, really good. So I'm going to let those stand there for another second. They look ready to go. And that means I need to be ready to finish them. So, and a couple more. They're not in danger of burning, so a couple more minutes isn't going to hurt them. I told you, I don't do everything perfectly. So, thing one, I'm going to use this big honkin' cutting board here to cut my pizzas on. I need to crunch up some of my chips for topping. I don't know who came up with this taco pizza nonsense, but crushed chips are definitely a part of taco pizza. Of course, normally they would be store-bought fried chips, but mine are going to be baked, or air-fried chips, rather. So these are crunched up in here. A couple more chips that put here. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Got those. Oops. I don't want to air fry nothing. And I'm going to want some plates. This is some sour cream that I made out of soy milk. So just the regular soybeans and water soy milk. You can turn it into, add a probiotic tablet and cook it in on the yogurt setting in your Instant Pot. And then strain it on the counter, and it turns into cultured sour cream, and it's amazing and delicious and pretty cool. So pizzas are going to come out, and then we'll cut them and put the toppings on, because we don't want the lettuce and tomato and chips to get all warm, so those will just go on piece by piece rather than on the whole thing. This is my pizza chopper. I actually got this at Goodwill for like $4, and it's an awesome pizza cutter. Alright, that is slip sliding away from me. It's gonna fall. Oh. Disaster. Disaster, friends. This guy's coming here. This guy apparently wants to stay in the oven and ruin my life. awesome. Not awesome. So, I think we've learned some valuable lessons here about polenta crust pizza. They are not as easy to work with as quinoa crust pizzas, and possibly the first time you're making them, you should not also be making a video and talking and not paying 100% attention to what you're doing. So, we've all learned a valuable lesson. Pizza's here. We're just going to remove that part. It might still taste good, it just looks funny. And go full steam ahead with what we've got. So, I'm gonna cut this into a couple of pieces. Just tastes good. And let those cool a little bit. Cut this guy. Turn the oven off. I'm going to start with these two pieces here for myself. And so the way that this goes is then I've got my tomato and I've got a little bit of crunched up chips and a little bit of lettuce and then just a little bit of sour cream on there. If I was being fancy, I would like put it in a Ziploc bag and pipe it on there, but that's not happening today. So, and then you can put some hot sauce on it if you like hot sauce, and who doesn't like hot sauce? I think this calls for some Chipotle Tabasco. We'll at least try that one to start and call it good. So, this is my polenta taco pizza. We had some ups and we had some downs, folks, but now I have that out of the way, and I won't be afraid to do a cooking video in the future because you already saw me embarrassingly lose half of my pizza to the oven. So I think we can still be friends. Hopefully I haven't turned you off from my channel. You'll still watch, but we have a delicious taco polenta pizza, and I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope you learned something, and maybe you'll try and make something like this yourself. So have a great day. Thanks for watching.